do you have everyday practice before comps? Like, how does it work?
Okay, so usually we did, let me think, we would have practices like Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and maybe like Saturdays, so probably like 4 times a week. We never had practice on Fridays, which was always good. But um,
That's good.
Saturdays we would have like, I think probably our longest practice. We probably have it from like 12 to 4-ish. Um,
Okay.
so,
So
but
per week, like how many hours were you practicing, you would say?
I'd say
Like
like,
four and then like 2 hours for the other ones?
yeah, probably like 25 hours a week. And
Wow.
yeah, um,
Yeah, that's
like
incredible.
for comp week, it was every day, most like
Hmm.
honestly
Hmm.
depended on how prepared we were for the comp. If we were a lot more scared for the comp and we didn't seem as prepared, that's when you get longer practices and more
Yeah.
days. So in
Mm.
order to get shorter practices, you really need to put the work in beforehand.
Yeah, I bet. No, I asked because like I have been like telling a lot of our students on the travel team, I had been saying this, that guys, like we don't have time on our side. We meet once a week and then half of the year, like when we're preparing, we'll meet twice a week. So we literally have 3 hours and that's it. So we have 3 hours and you're telling me you practice 25 hours. That
Yeah.
is a huge, huge difference. So like time is like not of advantage, but like you said, there's a lot you can do with time management and like having that investment. Um, and yeah, like and then we do of course like the everyday practice right before if we can. So that's yeah, 25 hours. Damn. Like I forget how much like it was, but I kept saying like, oh, everybody practices like 8, 9 hours at least, and we only do three. But like that's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, like people usually got like um annoyed with like how long practices would be and stuff because they're like, oh, we have other things to do.
Mm,
But you can't really blame anybody but yourself because if you put in the effort, then the practices won't be long. You know, it's not like the captains
right.
want to stay forever. Nobody wants to stay there forever.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you need to put in the effort because why do we put all this effort if we're not going to get a good set out of it, you know?
Yeah, for sure. No, that makes sense. But you saw like we had notified like our alumni that we got into like Derby City Doom in Louisville, which was a collegiate comp, our first collegiate comp. So like, did you watch the performance? Like, what did you think like that your academy is going to a competition like you would go to in college?
I was so hyped by it. I was like, first of all, I was just like, how did they even get into a comp? Because I was like, that's because the thing is, for me, I didn't watch any of the practice videos or anything. I had no idea what the theme of their set even was. So I was like, how could they have gotten in? Their set had to have been amazing, right? So then I actually watched the performance for the first time ever. Didn't know anything about it.
Yeah.
I was like, I was like emotional, low key, but the most part of it was just like I was just amazed at it because I was like, the youngest person on the team is what, 12, right?
12. Yeah.
And 12-year
It's
old,
ridiculous.
yeah. So like a 12-year-old being with a what, like a 21-year-old, that's like insane to
Right.
me. And the fact that you guys won first place at that, that was just like I was like speechless at that, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But I was so hyped by the performance. I like saw the performance and I started sending it out to all my friends and my family. And I was just like, I was on that dance team, you know. I,
Yeah.
I'm like kind of still on it, you know.
Yeah, no, you'll never not be on it. So that's for sure. It's that's why it's such a that's why I wanted to ask you that question because I was just like it's such an emotional thing for me, but I bet for you and like Sneha and any alumni, like it's just like so like did that actually happen? And it's such a incredible feeling to
Definitely.
see that. But
Even though I
yeah,
wasn't, you know, I took a lot of pride in it. I was just like,
yeah,
I was excited, to be honest.
yeah. No, and you're right. It was, the youngest was 12. We had like a couple 13, 14-year-olds and then 15, 6. I think the oldest was 17. So like you're right. It was pretty incredible. That such like a young age group can do that. And like for us, like we were actually very limited on the amount of competition we could apply to because a lot of like in the circuit, a lot of competitions have this rule that you have to have 75% enrolled in a college, or some even explicitly state like you got to be 18 years or older. So there's only like some comps
Mhm.
that we could apply to, but the fact that like we could go here and then unfortunately due to COVID, we didn't get to go to NKD, but then we had another one. And so that was just really exciting to be able to take the feedback and like work on a next thing. But Of course, there's always next year. And I don't know, maybe at some point we'll like get to see you guys, like you and Sneha or someone at a comp. That would be like,
If that
that would
ever,
be, how would you feel if we like, like we came to a collegiate comp where you were also like competing? Like, what would that be like?
I think my first reaction would be like, there's no way I'm competing against my old dance team right now. I was like, there's no way. But then at the end of the day, I would also be like, yeah, there is a way they did that. Like, I think it would just be like, even more of seeing it as a competition, I would just be like, how? Like, but I would just be like that. I'm like so proud of them for doing that, for actually being
Yeah.
able to get to a college comp like that. But I think it'd be super interesting to see, to be honest, how it would play out. But I think it would be
Yeah.
like a fun time.
Yeah. Well, what's the like I would think that there'd be like a lot of I mean, granted DMV, you were a part of it, so your feeling is different, but like what do you think about like, high schoolers or like a high school academy basically we're not a high school affiliated academy, but like as in like a team that has people that are under 18 competing against collegiate students, like going to comps like that, like what do you like think about that? It's a very brand new concept.
Right.
Um,
So I think it's like a huge thing where like competitions don't allow kids, well, people who are younger to
mhm.
compete. Like you said, you were restricted to apply to a ton of
Yeah.
competitions because of that, which I think is like not very acceptable because I don't like, I think other college students might not like the fact that people younger than them are there just because at competitions, everybody's around the same age, you know? So they would,
Mhm.
oh, what's a 12-year-old doing there? But at the same
Mhm.
time, I wouldn't want anybody to take offense to that in any sort of way because
Mhm.
people, the topic of people who are younger and their abilities is not seen at all here. You know, there's only so many teams that have younger people on it and that have such great ability like DFD. So people are just not exposed to that yet. So I don't want any
Yeah.
ever take offense that, oh, they're not being included as much or anything like that. Um, but at
But
the
yeah,
end,
the rules are like they're, yeah, go ahead. Mhm.
I don't know. So I was just saying, like, me personally, I would love it to see younger people there because instead of like being mean to them, I would probably be like, wow, that's amazing that they actually here, you know?
Mhm.
Um, but I think everybody coming into a competition who are younger should take pride in it because they can say, like, oh, I
You
competed against
already did that.
somebody. Yeah, I competed against somebody so much older than me.
Hmm.
And even if they place as well, that's an even bigger accomplishment. So any like negativity you see at competitions, I think everybody should always take it as a confidence booster, if that makes sense,
Hmm.
and use
Hmm.
it to your advantage, and take it as like like positive criticism almost to make
Hmm.
sure you do better and motivate yourself
Yeah.
at that
And I
competition.
think it's like what you said, it's just so foreign to people that to like see that a younger generation or like a younger group coming in because it's like in Bhangra competitions, it's like pretty common. It's like there's a lot of academies that participate. There's like a wide group of wide age range there, but in Fusion that has been unprecedented. So you're right, like students should take pride in the fact that that is like something that they were able to do for the first time for themselves too. So. Yeah, no, totally. But yeah, I can't believe that, last year we were preparing for like competitions and now you're like on a dance team in college and like doing that. And then I don't know, like I said, maybe one day we'll be like together again and be able to do that at the same competition.
That
That
would
would
be
be like
crazy.
awesome. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm glad I got to talk to you. And, if you're like ever in Boston again, because I know you're not right now, but when everything kind of settles down, when we go back to in-person classes, definitely want to see you again. Come to our class, come to our practices.
Of course.
Yeah.
Thank you for having
Cool.
me.
Of course. I'll talk to you soon. Bye. So now I'm going to add in Sneha, who actually she's not only an alumni of DFD Academy, but she's also a staff member now, and she teaches with us. So, hi,
Hi,
how's it going?
good. How are you?
Good. So I was talking to Arya right now about like her, I mean, for me, like the most exciting question was to ask her, which I'm going to ask you too, like you being on a college team now, like when you heard that DFD went and competed, also at a collegiate comp and stuff, like how did you feel, like from your perspective?
Yeah, so I remember like I knew you guys were like practicing and like you were filming your audition videos and all that fun stuff. And I
Yeah.
was just like, I really hope this comes, like this is worth something. So then when I heard you guys got into Derby, I was like, oh my God, they pulled this off. Like that's kind of amazing. Like no one's done this before. Like, and of course, like it's my dance school, so I'm like even more happier. And
Mhm.
then when I heard you guys won at Derby, I was like, no way, you're joking. Because I saw it through like a girl on the team's like Snap story, and I was like, hold up,
Oh,
because I like didn't see it at first, and then I like rewinded. I was like, wait, they're like happy, they're celebrating. I see a trophy
it,
on the side, like, oh my God. And the funny thing was that I was also at a comp on the same weekend, and we didn't place, and I was like, fine. But then I saw you guys place, and I was like over the moon. Like I was so happy. It was so funny. And
yeah.
then like I was in a room with other girls, and I was like, guys, my dance school won at a comp. Like this is crazy. And everyone
Yeah.
was so happy. So it was like definitely like Minu said, like a moment of like disbelief at first, but then like when I heard it, I was like, yeah, of course they won. Like of course they pulled it off.
Yeah, yeah. No, I feel like when that happens though, that's the most like rewarding is when you're kind of like, wait, really? Versus like, because you've been working so hard towards something like that. But
Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
so actually, so you said you also had a comp. So what t like tell the people like what dance team you're on and kind of like what you
Yeah.
do. Yeah.
So last year I was a freshman at UConn, and I decided to join UConn Surya, which is our Bollywood Fusion dance team. We're an all girls dance team. So yeah, this year we had a really good year, and honestly, I think being on DFD definitely helped a lot, because like throughout the year, people noticed that like I grasped things quicker just because like I had to do that in DFD. So like people knew what DFD was by the end of the year because I kept saying, "Oh, I knew this. Like I learned this at DFD." Um, but yeah, like definitely because of DFD, I just like learned a lot quicker, and like because of that, I was able to help like all my friends who were maybe struggling a little bit. And also, I think because I was on DFD, like it made my year so much better on Surya, because the thing was when I left DFD, I was leaving like a lot of friends and like basically my
Yeah.
family. So when I came on Surya, my biggest worry was, oh, am I going to find like that type of family again? And then when I did, I was just like so happy because now I have like, two families.
Hmm.
So yeah, it was a good year. And next year I'm actually vice president of Surya, so I'm really excited to
Nice.
help behind the scenes, because honestly at DFD I was helping behind the scenes, like I was
Mhm.
helping with like critiquing or planning and stuff. So I really wanted to have like some type of role for next year for Surya to like help out.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, so what about for like yeah, and you still like play a role in that, like, stepping in and helping us like see things. I think that was so great in when we were preparing because you visited home quite a bit, being so close
Mm-hmm.
that you were able to come into some of our practices and like critique and like help support us from having that perspective of being on a college team and
Mm-hmm.
being able to support people on that. So like for the students, I was telling Minu that for the students that are going to be like they want to audition for collegiate teams, how about from your perspective? Like, what would you advise them, or what kind of expectation would you set that's like different from DFD or the same, so that they should actually think about it?
Um, well, a lot of it is like kind of the same because we at DFD we practiced like run throughs and then like costume changes, and then I think our sets were just more they were more like it was not your usual like local show like Diwali show performance. Like there was much more
Hmm.
thought into each performance, so that definitely helped when I came on to Surya. Like I knew like the behind like what it needed to be in a complicated set.
Hmm.
But like Minu said, like time management is huge because not back here at DFD, like we practice like once a week, but when you go to college,
Hmm.
it's multiple days in a row for multiple hours. So like it's definitely takes up a lot of your time, and you get tired. So obviously like that affects your
Yeah.
rest of your activities. Um, But at the same time, I think for like anyone, not even the travel team, like just being able to perform at comps like locally,
Hmm.
they definitely help you like get your mind like trained for what a comp is like.
Yeah.
Obviously, like when you get to college, it's a 3-day weekend rather than a 1-day performance. But still,
Hmm.
you have that mindset like, oh, I have a competition. Like we've been practicing for like the past few months, like for this thing.
Yeah.
So you have that mindset, which really helps when you get to college because we don't do like local shows. I mean, we do, but our main
Yeah.
focus is competitions.
Right.
So, yeah, I definitely think, yeah, I think like because of DFD and like not only did we have like the DC performance at RDR, which was obviously really helpful, but like even our local comps definitely helped me like prepare for what
Yeah.
a collegiate comp would be like.
Yeah. It's kind of like what I was telling Minu earlier too, is that like you have to start somewhere to get a feel for like, okay, what is it going to be like to prepare for just a regular show? And then
Mm-hmm.
you do that, and then you go to like a local competition, and then you do that. But the only way that you're going to go up is, like you said, through that like mentality and that dedication.
Yeah.
Because even for us, like the travel team was something that like it was like a dream of mine like a long time ago, where
Mm-hmm.
when I was just teaching as a hobby and someone had said to me that like I think it was like evaluating for a competition, they said that like high schoolers like or yeah, I think it was that like oh a high schooler or a kid could
Yeah.
not compete at a collegiate level. They won't have that kind of energy. Like have you seen them at like SAS and like things like that? And I'm like, really? Because I think if they were well trained and
Yeah.
motivated enough, then I think that kids or teens could be more flexible.
Yeah.
Like they have, because they're younger, they have more like ability to absorb things. Like,
Mm-hmm.
they could have more endurance because they're younger too. Like, there's a lot of positives for that. So, like, why would you say that? And I remember just being so annoyed by that comment because I had seen from like my own students, some of them being so like dope that I was
Mm-hmm.
just like, I don't think that's true.
Yeah.
And one day I was like, one day I want like younger kids to go to a collegiate comp because I totally believe that they could kill that. And this was
Mm-hmm.
like 5, 6 years ago. And like now, last year, like you said, RDR was just an exhibition act. But like after seeing that, I think it was Prerna who had mentioned to me, she's like, I feel like we could go to a collegiate comp. And I was like, we can. And like
Yeah.
my heart started racing and I was like, yeah, but like when you're like, it's a dream, but you're also like scared to like do it. And you're like, well, I
Yeah.
don't know. Like we don't have that much time. And like, I don't know if we could do that. And, and you start doubting yourself. But then you're
Yeah.
like, no, you watch the video and then you're like, no, like everybody's so dedicated. Everyone
Mhm.
practices outside of practice. They're giving 110%, that if we
Yeah.
just push a little bit and they push themselves a little bit, maybe we could actually do this. And
Hmm.
now to be like here, Minu said earlier, with like, forget about teenagers, with girls that are 12 years old coming to a competition with us, which by the way, Shreya Madhu just commented. And
I
hi,
just
Shreya
said,
Madhu. Shout out to Shreya Madhu because she was this year, past year, and currently the youngest member of our travel team.
mhm.
And like to have that is like, that makes me so proud.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, like
I think the
it's
great
just
thing,
crazy.
sorry, I think the great thing about like DFD, what it taught me the most was mentality. Because like if you take RDR, for example, like our DC performance, like yeah, we were an exhibition act, but we took it so seriously. Like so many people
Mm,
thought we were competing, even if because like they didn't know what RDR was like back then. They would like we were so serious about it. We were putting time like outside of practice. And
yeah.
like when we went there, like our mentality was like straight. Like we wanted to give the best performance because at the end of the day, we were all saying like we did not come all the way from Boston to not give our best performance.
Yeah.
So I think like that mentality like definitely came with me when I joined to Surya because I was like, no matter like yeah we get 3 comps, like we have 3 different chances, but each different time like we still should have that mentality that we got into a comp, we should give our best. And I think
Mhm.
that definitely helped me get through like the season for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that I want to like emphasize that so much, that any student, performer, not even dance, just like anything you do at life, I think it's so
Mm-hmm.
crucial. Like, take it seriously. Whatever
Yeah.
you're doing, I literally have, I don't even know, I don't know if you can see it, but like I have this thing right here. I'm not going to flip my camera, but it says, basically, it says, do it with passion or not at all. Like,
Yeah.
I wholeheartedly believe that. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that like the reason the travel team was created in the first place was because people took those students, and anyone that joins the travel team, it's because you take it so seriously. It's not
Yeah.
necessarily about, oh my God, you're like the best dancer in the world. It's not even about that. It's like Minu said, you have potential, but it's your drive,
Mhm.
it's your mentality, and your ability to take something seriously that's actually going to
Mhm.
make you succeed. And I think that's
Yeah.
just so important. We couldn't have done anything without our students who were so driven. And I
Yeah.
think that any student that is 8 years old, 12, 15, 16, all the way to 45, 50, whatever,
Mhm.
they need to realize that, like, don't go into a dance class or don't go into something with the idea that I want to, I'm learning the step and I need to master it immediately.
Yeah.
Just grow from it. Right now, just grow from it and use that to fuel your confidence. And then, like, eventually you can get better, but don't let anything defeat you thinking that, like,
Yeah.
oh, since I wasn't like the best at this thing, then that means I'm just like not going to be good. Like, do it for the enjoyment of and the enrichment of like growing from it. And I think that's just really important for all of our students and anybody else to really know. So I do want to like emphasize that. I love that you said that
Mhm.
because it is about mentality for sure,
Yeah.
you know. And you're okay, so you're a staff member now. So
Mhm.
you help me teach classes, specifically the adult classes.
Yeah.
Um, as a teacher now, like, what is your thought process? Or not even a teacher, you're saying you're going to be vice president of your dance team, so you're going to be watching a team, or when you came and you watched the travel team, you critique. So from the perspective of some sort of a coach slash teacher,
Mhm.
what do you like kind of look at when you're kind of critiquing a piece? And
Well, for sure, like, especially when I was coming for like the competitive teams like practices, like I wanted to make sure like the whole team looked as one. Like, yeah, you guys had 16 different dances, but at the end of the day, you need to look like one person's moving, which I'm
yeah.
sure you emphasize that all the time. But
Hmm.
so definitely like that. And then also at the end of the day, like if I give you feedback, I'm just trying to make you not a better dancer, but to match the others, and look
Hmm.
at the whole. So if you can like apply that feedback and of course not take that to heart, because at the end of the day, I'm just trying to make you and your whole dance team better.
Hmm.
If you can take that feedback, you like already you start growing as a dancer. That's how you grow as a dancer.
Yeah.
Um, and then like with my adult classes, which I'm really happy to be teaching now, um, they're some of them haven't danced in a while. Some of them just like dancing, and like this is their first time taking like classes. So it's really fun to like see where like other like different backgrounds come, but the same thing, like we give them feedback, and it's like great to see them like apply that when they send in their videos, because at the
Hmm.
end of the day, no matter what age, everyone's a student. So you
Yeah.
apply the same things. You want everyone to dance as a whole, and give them feedback so that they just improve as a dancer.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I liked what you said about like, yeah, we do that a lot, like looking at a dance and being like, you need to dance as one. And it's not
Mm-hmm.
to like take somebody's individual like flavor out of it or something like
No.
that, you know? A lot of times, especially when like you're like 8 or 10, like maybe not even at like a competitive level yet, I think like the importance or
Mm-hmm.
something we always say is that I'm forcing you to do it this way because I want your body to
Mm-hmm.
get used to, I want your mind to get used to telling your body, no, do it this way. So that
Yeah.
anytime something else gets thrown at you, you can adapt. It's your ability to
Mm-hmm.
adapt. I think that's like
Mm-hmm.
not taking away your creativity, so that if you were to choreograph a piece by yourself and like want to be able to do this kind of movement, you would probably be able to do
Mm-hmm.
that kind of movement because your body's so used to getting pushed out of its comfort zone. So I think that that's so important, is like being able to dance as a team, being able to take feedback. Like, I think I was telling somebody this last week that like it's as a teacher or as a coach or as a
Mm-hmm.
captain, it's our job to tell you you're doing it wrong and how
Mm-hmm.
to fix it. If we're just going to pat, like, especially with younger kids, like 8 year olds or something, like, I know a lot of people say, like, obviously you're not going to talk to a young kid the same way that you would
Yeah.
to maybe a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
But I still think that, like, when we teach, like, our younger students, we're going to say, no, so that's not how you do it. You want to do this. And then if they do that, great. If they don't, then we'll be like, okay, let me keep helping you. But you have to say, like, no, that wasn't right.
Yeah.
Because you're not doing anybody any favors if you're
Mm-hmm.
not giving the right kind of feedback. but at the same time, they're not doing any favors to themselves if they're not taking the feedback / getting hurt by it. And of course, there's like a way to present it, but I just think that's like so crucial, is like being able to not just take feedback, but as coaches, we have to be able to give feedback properly too. So yeah, no, for sure. And you know, you've been part of DFD for how long? So like in terms
4
of
years now.
yeah, 4 years. And then now you're like teaching with us. You're also on a collegiate team. Like dance is such like a huge part of your life. And you've been dancing well before that too, you know?
Yeah.
So you're like, I think Devam sometimes says this, my brother, he's just like, you said that dance like taught you, or sorry, DFD taught you like that it's the mentality that counts, or like the culture. And so like that's what Devam says, is she is like a product of the culture essentially. And a lot of our students are. But like I'm just saying, like this is what I like. It's not, I don't get excited when I see like, wow, look at Sneha, she's such a great dancer. I say look at Sneha because she gets it. Like the things that you're saying, you know what I mean? And not just you, Minu too, she said the same things. And like a lot of our other students, basically just like as an example, I'm saying is that a lot of our students, that is what DFD is about. It's not about necessarily the dancing, it's about what's up here and here, as corny as it sounds. But if your heart's not in it, your brain's not going to engage either, right? So
for sure.
I just think that what you said about mentality and that being the product of our culture is very true. It's about the mentality of it and the culture of it more than anything else. And that's what the Tea with DFD, like these episodes are all about, is to share that aspect of DFD. People see our dancing all the time through Instagram videos and stuff like that, but they don't really see like the culture behind it. And so that's like what we're trying to share through something like this.
No, for sure. Because like most of the time, like everyone comes, like usually like everyone does dance, like all my friends, obviously, like people on the team, like they do dance, like they did their performances. But you know, the thing that like made DFD different is that we're so used to like working as a team. Like sometimes dance is like thought of it like an individual like sport, I guess, because you're so used to like, oh, if I do this really well, then like I'll get attention and like the whole dance will be fine. But like I feel like when I came to DFD, like it wasn't like, sure, like you need to have your expressions, you need to have your energy, but at the end of the day, if you're not like having expressions and energy as a whole with your whole like team and everyone else, like they talked about in the teamwork episode, like then that's where I learned like, okay, like I need to be good, but I also need to help make others good and help them gain the confidence to like tell others what to do to be good too. So yeah, it's like that mentality was like the biggest thing I took when I went to college, for sure.
Yeah, and I think that the parents of our students have started to understand that too, because I remember I was telling somebody this last week or whenever we had that teamwork episode, that like in the beginning when we used to have performances, parents would zoom in on their child. Now people, maybe they still do that, but like I think a lot of people now understand that I want to when I'm recording, I need to record the whole piece, because I'm going to miss something. It's not just about my kid anymore. It's about how my kid is creating this beautiful picture with everybody else. And so like I think they like get that now. So anytime I get a video now, I'm like, oh my God, thank God it's like everybody. Whereas before I was just like, well, this didn't really help me because it's only zoomed in on this person and I really wanted to see the whole thing. So I do think that that's like such a big part of our culture, that even like the parents see, and like the parents are such a huge part of our community, right? Like they have to also understand it, I think, which is great that they do now. So I agree with that, that's like working as a team and stuff is a huge part of it. And yeah.
No,
But
it's honestly so great to see like the team aspect. Like we were like, my class was really close, like the whoever's on the travel team now, but like honestly it was so cute to see, like I know for example like Nima, like all the moms were so supportive and like they were so cute. And then like we had our DFD picnic and it was so nice to see like everyone just act like a community. Like we don't see these people every single day, but like when that one event, it was just nice to see like everyone coming together to celebrate a great company and like everyone just the passion to learn to dance. So that was really cute.
Yeah. No, I think teamwork and community, like both kind of go hand in hand, and it's like a huge part of it, which is awesome. And I think it's like so great that kind of like Minna was saying, like if you were to see us at a comp, like she was saying that I would feel like so like, oh my God, I'm going against like my
Yeah.
team or something like that, because she's like, I still feel like I'm a part of your team. And I think
Mhm.
that's what it is. Like, you're always going to feel that way. And I want that. Like,
Yeah.
I never want it to be like, oh, you used to be part of DFD, now you need to disconnect. Kind of like, it should never be like that. It is a
Yeah.
part of you, um, which is important, because then that kind of bleeds into what you do later on in life too, right? Because you have to be confident, you have to work as a team, you need to have some diversity of thought when you go to college or when you go out in the real working world,
Yeah.
or you have a family or whatever, like any aspect of life, those things are critical. And so that's why like they're so important to like what we do at DFD. But yeah. But yeah, I'm glad. I feel like, yeah, go ahead. You were going to say something.
No, I just said I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, I feel like you and I could like talk about this for like hours and hours. So, like actually, because we do that normally. So this is just people watching us talking about, this is like, so for anybody who's actually listening to this, like this is what Sneha and I, or even like a lot of our students and like the rest of our staff, like we'll just sit and like kind of reflect on a lot of these things, because I don't know, being introspective and like reflecting on like where you come from and like what your culture is like and how do you want to convey that to the rest of your students and stuff like that. Like, we don't just do lesson plans, like here's what the choreo is going to be. We talk about like, how do we get this kid or this person to understand this better? And like we talk about that so much behind the scenes that people like don't realize that we're discussing like somebody's like ability to like learn something, like, or like how do we make them understand this better. And I think that's a huge part of our teaching process, is not just like throwing choreo, but like really understanding like how to make their learning aptitude better too. So yeah, no, so we'll talk more offline, you and me, so that we can let people go. But yeah, thank you for like kind of sharing your thoughts. And I can't wait to see like what more we do with like the travel team, the rest of DFD, like everything. And I can't wait to see what you do on your dance team.
Yeah.
I like really want to come and watch you perform with Surya at some point. So I definitely will do that.
I'm really
and Minu too, but she's all the way in Florida. Huh?
Yeah. I really just want to perform in Boston. Oh, I wanted to mention this, like the fact that like we have South Asian Showdown in Boston. Like the first time I knew about it, I was in the audience, and then I joined DFD, and then I became a part of the exhibition act, and now I'm just like, I want to make that full circle and just perform there. So
I hope that you will perform there. I was really looking forward to that. At some point, I know with COVID and stuff, I'm praying that everything's going to be fine come spring, so we'll actually be able to do that. But yeah, that was definitely like super exciting. When we found out you guys were joining collegiate teams, we were like, okay, yes, hopefully we'll see them at SAS. And now I'm kind of like, yes, okay, hopefully we can all go to SAS or so-and-so competition together.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see what happens next year. But yeah, that'd be so dope.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, cool. I'll talk to you soon.
Yep. Bye.
Bye. And thank you to everybody else who's been listening in on, all these episodes and stuff. Like, it was so great today to talk to like my alumni. Like, I can't even believe I'm saying alumni. 6 years ago, I wouldn't have even believed that I would have those. But it's so cool to see how like they really understand our culture and our mentality. And I hope that other students, whether they're at DFD or anywhere else, will be inspired by those values and like got a little something out of this episode and other episodes on how to just like learn better, or like have a good mentality towards approaching something that you're new at, dance or not. And so yeah, I'm really excited that we got to talk to them today. And then next week, we're actually going to be talking to our staff members, our teachers. And that is going to be a very special episode, because I actually had our student body submit some questions for our teachers, and some of them are very interesting. So I hope you guys tune in next week, and I will talk to you soon. Have a great rest of your Saturday.